Live from clickorlando.com, this is News 6. This is a News 6 Plus takeover. Here now is Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells with Talk to Tom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Talk to Tom. I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Sorrells. Thank you so much for being here on this Thursday afternoon. We air Talk to Tom every Thursday between 5:30 and 6 here on the powerful WKMG. And, of course, constantly 24/7. You can stream us anytime you want on News 6 Plus. I have been the Chief Meteorologist here for almost a quarter of a century. I've got 23 behind me, almost 24, and I've had a great team with me every step along the way. This week, we welcome a brand new member to the News 6 weather team. Please welcome to the stage our new friend, Michelle Morgan. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hey, Tommy, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on and being a special guest here on Talk to Tom. What we want to do is let everyone in Central Florida get to know Michelle. She's going to be doing Saturday and Sunday mornings here at the powerful KMG. So what we did was we went online, Michelle, and I just posted on Facebook and we posted on clickorlando.com. What would you like to know about Michelle? Ask any questions you want to ask. And for once, we got really great questions and no really bad ones, which is good. It's a very good sign. We want to start out by firing these questions at you. That's what Talk to Tom is like. We let the viewers at home ask questions, and we try to answer them. So let's start. Okay, you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to start with our friend Phyllis Moore, who said, hey, how old were you when you knew you wanted to be a meteorologist, and what were the deciding factors? Go.
All right, that's a good question. Very young, around 5, 6 years old, living in Brooklyn, New York. We had a huge winter storm. And I asked my parents, where's the snow coming from? You know, the whats, the whys, the wheres, the whens, everything. And this was way before the internet, so they got me a bunch of books to read. Then, shortly after, in my teenager years, we moved to Florida, where we had back-to-back hurricanes, and that was the cherry on top, where I knew that I wanted to be a meteorologist.
Come on now, Michelle. Who calls the hurricanes the cherry on top? Come on now. Come on. All right, so you were born in Brooklyn?
Yes, I was born in Brooklyn and raised in Queens. So we moved around a lot in New York, but then we moved to Claremont, Florida during my teenage years. So I consider myself a Floridian.
Okay, so do you know that Beastie Boys song, No Sleep Till Brooklyn?
Yes.
Do you? I sing it all the time.
I do. It's because of my dad. That's why it's...
Oh, okay. I think you just aged me with your dad. That's okay. I'm fine with being your dad. At dad's age, I don't mind. All right, let's move along. Our next question comes to us from our friend Anthony Jackson. Anthony wants to know who inspired you to seek a career in meteorology. Obviously, you fell in love with weather at a young age, but lots of kids love weather. Lots of them do. I mean, I speak to them all the time at elementary schools across Central Florida. But someone had to inspire you. You had to go, hey, I want to be like that. Hey, I can study that. How'd that happen?
Yeah. Well, you know, as I said before, I was interested in weather when I was very young. And I used to watch the broadcast meteorologist on TV, but believe it or not, I actually did not want to become a broadcast meteorologist. I wanted to work behind the scenes, like in a cubicle, away from people, looking at models and stuff and putting my forecast together.
Well, that's still a meteorologist. That's what you're describing as the weather service or working for the airlines.
And that was my main goal. But a good friend of mine, and I think you know her, Samara, which is on our team, called me one day. She's like, hey, what do you think about getting into broadcast? I said, well, I have this fancy degree. Why not use it?
So she's the one who actually
Here I am.
Samara Kokinos actually talked you into doing broadcasting instead of just weather service stuff.
She sure did.
Wow. And you know who inspired her was Danny Trainer. That story she tells about Danny coming into her elementary school. So actually, I have Danny Trainer by osmosis to thank for you being on my team now.
There you go.
We're going to tie all the legends together. Well, that's a great story.
It.
All right. Let's go ahead. Anthony also has another question. Anthony wants to know, what is the ultimate weather event you've either witnessed on the job or off the job. In other words, what's the ultimate weather experience you've had on air, and what's the ultimate weather experience or phenomenon off air? Answer them both.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's a really good question too. So on the job, my first station was in Great Falls, Montana. So many cool weather phenomena out there. I witnessed northern lights, sundogs, all kinds of atmospheric phenomenons, optics. I also witnessed Chinook winds. Those are my favorite out there. So you just have those downslope winds. They speed
snow
up, they
eaters,
warm up, the snow eaters, and you have temperatures that go from 0 to 40 in a matter of minutes. So I think that's pretty cool. So I have to say that's one of the coolest weather events I witnessed on the job. And off the job, the Northern Lights, still in Montana.
Wow. When
Yeah.
did you see the Northern Lights? How long ago was it? Years
I
ago?
saw the Northern years ago. It had to have been about 6 or 7 years ago. We first moved to Montana. We were there for a couple of months. My chief, he told me that the Northern Lights will be able to view them. So he took my husband and I out in the mountains. Never been in the mountains ever before, and we saw them. It's the coolest thing ever.
So when you saw the Northern Lights, were they shimming like green, reds, or pinks?
They
or
were
what colors?
they were dancing around, and they were green. It's beautiful.
I've never seen it. I've only seen video.
Yeah.
And they tell me video
Gorgeous.
just does not do it justice. Does
No,
do it
not at
justice.
all.
What's the best thing on the job? I mean,
On the Chinook
like
winds.
the Chinook one, you think that's it?
The
Focus
Chinookies.
them.
Love
Sure.
them. Yeah, I love them. They're
That's
so
always
cool.
a question that kids will ask. For some reason, teachers like to teach that word, Chinook. And I mean, that's an ongoing. I've been broadcasting and talking to children about weather since about 1986. And I'm telling you, in Kentucky, South Carolina, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, and Central Florida, the 5 markets I've worked in, kids, for whatever reason, ask about that. I think that's one of those things that teachers love the sound of.
Yeah.
And it's a great demonstration for them to show how things warm up and expand when they come down slope. And it's something they teach all the time. Okay,
Really cool.
let's go ahead and talk. You kind of answered part of this already, but we'll address it a little bit more right now. Our friend Victoria French wants to know, where is Michelle Morgan from? So take it away. Start with your story again. You said you were born in Brooklyn, though. Where are you from?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York, lived there for a little bit. Then we moved to Queens, New York, lived there for a little bit. And then we moved to Claremont, Florida when I was about 13, 14 years old. So I consider myself a Floridian. Went to high school out there. I went to university out in Daytona Beach. I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. So I spent a good chunk of my life in Florida.
Okay, but so when you say I was in Brooklyn for a little while, it had to be
Yeah.
years because you didn't. Go ahead. How many years in Brooklyn
5.
versus Queens? Okay.
5 years.
So
Yeah.
you were born,
Yeah.
learned to eat the bagels, learned the lifestyle, like all that New York stuff.
Oh, yes,
And then
exactly
you moved
right.
over to Queens. Now, for those of you who don't know, Brooklyn and Queens touch, do they not? Mm-hmm. I screw up my boroughs
boroughs.
sometimes, but Brooklyn and Queens are side by side.
Right,
And,
right next to each other.
So you moved over to Queens, and how long were
Mm-hmm.
you there? So probably another 5 or 10 years?
So I was there for about 9 years. I went to high school, so I went to 9th grade in
Oh.
Queens.
Wow.
So, and then I moved over to Claremont. So I went to sophomore, junior, senior in Claremont, Florida.
So you get to be the new cool kid.
Yeah, and I actually
Okay.
went to 4 high schools.
Wow. Was that adaptation
Yes.
hard when you moved to Florida? Was it hard on you? Was it good?
Yes, it was very hard. It was very, very hard because New York is fast paced. Everything is go, 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 go.
You think?
Yeah, walk to school. You have the stores, the corner stores right there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're walking to school, you grab a bagel, you grab a hot chocolate,
Right.
and then you're on your way to school. And it was just very different for me. So I had to learn to drive when I started a junior year and all kinds of stuff like that. Everything was so open and everybody was very nice in Florida. So that was a big change for me.
New Yorkers can be nice. They can. All right, last question, real quick here, Michelle. Someone has been listening to you, and they watched you in New Orleans too. And her question is, I know you miss us in NOLA, but what do you miss the most? Food and things to do? Question mark. So 30 seconds or less. What do you miss about New Orleans?
What I miss the most, alrighty, the food, the culture, the people, and being called baby all the time.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
love it so much, but definitely miss the food. The food is delicious. The people are awesome, very friendly.
Well, did you
And
pick
the
up?
weather.
Did you pick
I'm
up that
sorry.
calling everybody baby thing? Did you pick up that
I
your mom and
did.
them and all that stuff?
I did. Everybody's baby.
Okay. What's your favorite New Orleans food, real quick? I love the Cafe Du Monde.
Oh, the beignets. I love
What's your favorite?
char broiled oysters.
Okay. There
They're
you have it.
delicious.
She misses the char broiled oysters from New Orleans. All right, that is Michelle Morgan. We're not done with Michelle by any stretch of the imagination. We're just going to take a break right now. We'll be right back with more of your questions for Michelle. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for the second half of Talk to Tom. I can't thank you enough for sticking around for the second half of our big show. Today's a big one for me personally because we're introducing to you a brand new employee here at WKMG News 6. Her name is Michelle Morgan. Hey, Michelle, welcome back to Talk to Tom. Wave.
Hey there, Tommy.
There we go. Yeah, I know you are. Okay, so here's the deal. People have been asking when I put this out there for the public on Facebook to solicit questions for you. People were like, whoa, wait, who's leaving? Did you fire someone? You're not moving, are you, Tom? No, none of that. We're letting Jonathan become our pure internet and run our YouTube channel kind of guy. He has become ascendant on YouTube. It's catching fire. And so you guys should watch him on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, and get some of your weather there on YouTube as well. So check out Jonathan. But to do that, he had to come off the weekends, and so the weekends needed someone, and we found someone. We found you, Michelle, so welcome. That's what Michelle will be
Thank
doing
you.
Saturday and Sunday morning. Okay.
That's right.
Just want to get that in there. No one's leaving. No one's been fired. We're all a tight bunch of people. All right, let's get back to your questions. You kind of answered part of this earlier. This comes to us from our friend Jeff Craig, who says, what is Michelle's favorite weather phenomenon? I think you answered part of that earlier. You can readdress that. And also tell what's your favorite thing to forecast now?
Sure. Well, my favorite weather phenomenon, Chinook winds, pretty cool. We got them a lot out in Montana where I used to live. That was my first station. But also tropical meteorology. I love to watch how things evolve. Of course, when there's zero impacts to everybody, that's even better. But I really love tracking tropical storms and hurricanes and stuff like that.
Okay. Our next question comes to us from a friend named Donna Day. Donna says, hey, welcome to Michelle Morgan. Think she will fit right in with everyone. Does she really know how the News 6 family behaves? Now, see, I'm not, maybe I need to have a moment with Donna Day. I don't know. I'm not sure what she means by that. You think you're giggling. You think that she means that in a good way?
No, I think she means that in a great way. I mean, I've only been with y'all for about a week and a half, and y'all are a lot of fun, supportive, welcoming. So I think this is great.
I love the y'all. So how long did it take you? Because when you were in Montana, you couldn't get away with saying y'all, could you?
No, I couldn't. I actually used to get a lot of pushback on saying y'all, but now that I'm back in the South, it's welcomed.
Welcome back. South, brother. Okay, so yes, we think she will fit right into. We addressed this in the first half of the show in case you missed it. Michelle's from here. She went to high school over in Claremont, Lake County, so she'd be local. And she went to college over at Embry-Riddle University right here in Central Florida. So she is just as local as she could be, and she's back home. All right, the next question comes to us from a friend of mine, Rick DiBiasio. Sent in a question. He said, what college football team does she root for? Now, let me preface this by saying, Rick asked this as though we're living in Alabama. Is it because you go to Alabama, first thing they ask you, hi, my name is JoJo, and I just moved here. And they go, Bama or Auburn? Bama, Auburn. Who do you root for? Who do you root for? It's almost as bad in Central Florida. We have a lot of football fans here. We have several Gators in this room. Matt Austin is a very prominent Florida Stater. He's a Seminole. And so the big rivalry tends to be Florida State, Florida, or USF, UCF, or UCF versus the world. So tell us all, Michelle, who is it? Who's your team? Who are you pulling for?
Well, I usually watch football for the food and the fun.
Okay.
But my husband, he's a UF fan, so I go with what he likes.
Tell me a little bit about your family. You are, I talked about you being local. And so you're local, but it's not just you. You said your mom and dad moved you here. So let's talk family for a moment. Mom and dad are still here, correct?
Yeah, mom and dad are still here. They've been living in Claremont since we moved back in 2001. I also have a brother and sister. I'm the eldest, and they're also in, well, my sister's in Claremont, and my brother, he is in Mascot. So everybody's
Oh, it's right
nearby.
there. Mhm.
Yeah, so not too far away. I was the only one that was away from home. My husband, I'm very close with his family as well because we pretty much grew up together because we met in high school. And his family lives in Claremont as well, and his brothers and sisters. And then I do have a husband and one son,
Oh,
and
well,
he's
let's talk.
5.
Let's talk about the son. You are a family person. You have a husband and a child.
Hmm. Hmm.
And do you mind sharing information about your kids? Some people get weird about it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I have a 5-year-old. His name is Jacob, and he loves to do things outside. We've been doing outdoorsy things since he was
Yeah.
born. He was born in Montana, so he's been hiking at the age of 3 months. We would take him outside when it was like 30, 40 degrees, loves the fresh air, loves the mountains. And even moving to my second station in Richmond, Virginia, love hiking, love fishing, love doing anything outdoors. So he loves to do things outdoors as well. He plays sports with his dad. I'm not much of a sports person, so I like to stay inside where the
Seriously?
AC is cranking up. They love to be outside. But yeah, we have a lot of fun, the three of us. And even in Louisiana, went fishing a lot, did all kinds of things outside while we were living out there as well. So pretty
Okay.
tight.
Of all the past places you've lived, what's your favorite?
My favorite.
Did you love New
That's a
Orleans the
good
most?
one. That's a good
Just so
one.
everyone, her career path you went Central Florida College. Then your first
Hmm.
gig was in Montana.
Hmm.
Montana to Richmond, Richmond to New Orleans for 2 years through Ida, and then
Hmm.
here, correct?
Yep. So if you
Okay.
think about it, kind of like a zigzag from the Pacific Northwest to the east to the south and back home. But I would have to say my favorite spot is New Orleans. We had so much fun in New Orleans. We did so many things there that we would never gotten the chance to do if we didn't live there. We had our first Mardi Gras there. Never been to Mardi Gras, never experienced that. So that was a lot of fun. Out in New Orleans, there are a lot of festivals there. So we went to pretty much every festival, which was also a lot of fun. Great food, great people. And it was just overall a wonderful experience. So it was really hard leaving New Orleans, but very happy to be back home.
Well, we're very happy that you did come home to us. We're fortunate that we found you. Let's talk a little bit about what you missed when you were on the road away from home. You had to miss something, especially being in Montana, my guess, is the good weather, which is the reason
Yes.
Florida has exploded in population. People do like the weather for the
Yes.
most part. It's what they, if you go
Oh,
somewhere
yeah.
and you're on
Well,
vacation, and I say,
yeah.
where I'm from Florida, they go, oh, the weather's great there. Yeah, for the most part, it is. What did you miss
Yeah, I
most when
would
you were
agree.
gone?
My mother's cooking.
There we go.
So, believe it or not, when I got married, I didn't know how to cook very well. So, moving away from my family, I had to learn to cook. So, I missed my mother's cooking
I
while we
bet.
were gone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, outside of cooking, now, have you learned to cook very well? Are you catching up?
Yes, yes. I think my husband says so. I don't know if he's lying to me or not, but he says I do a
Well,
pretty good job now, 8 years
working on it,
later.
working on it makes it better. Let's talk real quick. We got about a minute and a half left to go. So, tell me about you yourself. More about you. Like, you say you don't do sports, but you're bound to have some hobbies. What do you do to pass the time? What is Michelle into?
I have a lot of hobbies. So when I'm not forecasting or working or anything like
Hmm.
that, love hanging out with my family. But for myself, I love to roller skate. You can always find me on with a pair of quad skates, rolling somewhere, doing something, and that is the most enjoyable thing for me to do. I've been quad skating since I was young, and also I make candles. Believe it or
Oh, do
not,
you
I
really?
do make. I
Scented
do. I make
ones?
candles, scented candles, yes, and I
Oh,
like to paint. So I do paint whenever I get the time where my
awesome.
husband or son aren't, if they're not bothering me, because you need concentration for that.
Now, are you talking about like still life or people or what do you paint?
Um, Still life, not people, because I
Okay,
will
scenes.
screw up the
Okay,
entire face. No, no, no. But like, I look at something and I can paint it pretty well.
nice.
Used to enjoy
You and
doing
Troy
that. So
Bridges, I had no idea. Troy's into abstract art.
yes, he showed me some of his paintings. So we shared
Wow.
pictures of our paintings. So
He's
yeah,
yet
so
to
I love
share
to do
those with
things.
me. You should feel special.
Absolutely.
You've
Yeah.
obviously been
So
accepted by the team. All right.
yes.
Michelle Morgan's going to be on Saturday and Sunday morning starting now. Starting now. Tune her in Saturday, tune her in Sunday morning. If you'd like to see Michelle, she's brand new, coming back home to work with us here at the powerful KMG. Michelle, thank you so much for being on Talk to Tom.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. You can see her this weekend, Saturday and Sunday morning, and you can catch us here on Talk to Tom every Thursday between 5:30 and 6, and always streaming worldwide on News 6 Plus. See ya.